Hi guys, welcome to this mid-year video. It's a mid-year 2017 video and it just looks at decks I've used throughout the year that I enjoyed using and I would recommend. Some of my spiritual tools, which you may notice this board in front of me, that I've enjoyed using and would recommend, and some books. Some are new purchases and some are old that I've used throughout the years. One in particular I've had for years and I'd recommend to anyone. So if you enjoy these kind of videos, welcome. I'll get started. It might be a longer one than usual, I'm not sure, because a couple of the decks, if you watch these videos, a couple of them can be quite stubborn getting in and out of the box. So the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is this pendulum board. Now this pendulum board is something that I've used since I've brought it consistently. I do live videos on Facebook and I always get at least one or two people commenting asking me where I got this board from. It's beautiful, it's lightweight, it's not wood, it is cardboard. It's about £5 or £7 and I've been told that you can get it on eBay and I've seen it on Amazon. I brought it from a holistic shop down the road from me, but those are the two places I've bought it. It's not expensive, it works really well, really easy to use as well. You've got the yes, no, maybes, you've got the dates, you've got some numbers, and then you've got the astrology signs or star signs. It's great for beginners, it's great for people with experience using pendulums, and it's just simple and it looks really pretty as well. And then to go with this, the last couple of months I've been doing a lot of pendulum readings, and these are my two new pendulums. I've got my malachite and I've got my tiger's eye. Now my tiger's eye, I've kind of dedicated it to my unicorn readings, so if you've had unicorn readings on me, this is involved in that. You get oracle and pendulum readings with that. But I've really enjoyed using these two. The malachite in particular is really nice and heavy, nice and deep. Gives quite honest readings, you know, yes or no, star signs. And I just really like them. Malachite's one of my favourite crystals anyway, so I had to kind of include these two. But with the pendulum boards, I was like, you know, I've got to have some pendulums there. And then one last kind of spiritual tool kind of thing, and that's like those two were my last crystals. I found this. Completely random. I went to a car boot sale a couple of months ago and I got this for £1. It is a candle holder. It was handmade. It's dark green glazed as well. It was £1 from a car boot sale and I love it. I use it for spells, I use it for meditation, I use it for my own kind of healing sessions as well. Put the candle in it, put herbs around it, essential oils around it, crystals around it. You can do so much with this. It keeps it nice and safe. It's nice and deep in there, so I'm not too scared about leaving the candle alone. Never leave it, you know, a candle alone, but this is really secure, really quite lightweight. I love this thing and it was a bargain. So yeah, that was one thing that I had to put in this video. I love it. So kind of onto books. And I've got 4 books, so not too many. The first one I wanted to kind of talk about is the little book of cord and candle magic. Now this, like it said, is a teeny tiny little book. It's about the size of my hands. I have large hands, but still the size of my hands. If you're a beginner, or if you just like kind of having something that's simple and easy to use, that you can progress with as well, or put into your own kind of magic workings, this is a great introductory book. It's great for kind of giving you more ideas. It's great to teach you how to use kind of cord magic, and when they say cord magic, it's basically knots and kind of incantations you can do with it. She gives you little spells as well. Let me see if I can find the front for you, or is it just, she tells you how to cast your circle, how to add to things. It's a really good little kind of do-all book to have. So yeah, I would totally recommend that, and I'm sorry about my dog barking. Now the next one is a book that's been around for a long time. It is a classic. It's an awesome, awesome book to have. And it is The Crystal Bible by Judy Hall. Now, Judy Hall has been around for years. I have many, 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 many books by her. You can kind of tell it's been flicked through a lot. It's been damaged just a little bit. But this book I've had for years, like I've said. She's done 2 others as well, which I do have. But if you're starting out or if you're looking for crystal book recommendations, I can't recommend her book enough. Most people who do crystal healing, who sell crystals, who are interested in crystals, have oracle crystals, decks, know who Judy Hall is, and they normally have this book. I've been to crystal fairs, I've brought online, and a lot of them still reference this book as well. There is tons in here. Even if, say I've bookmarked, even if you just have one book on crystals, this is the one that I recommend for people that are into crystals, new and old. There's always something that you're going to find. She gives you, let me have a look. She gives you an A to Z of different crystals, and how many does she go through? Gosh, it's about 40 easily there. 2, 3. There's 28 even in the A section, and they're all quite common, but also, you know, ones that have need a little bit of guidance on, you know, if you think, oh, that's interesting. She gives you crystal care, crystal meditation, crystal attributes, and then kind of, if you kind of find one, what should we have a look for? Aquamarine. She gives you the colour, she gives you the appearance, the rarity, the source, the attributes, the healing, and the positions to put them in. She also gives you kind of, this is just a really small example actually, but she gives you kind of magical properties and things as well. Not too much, but kind of history of it and things. It's just a really, really good one to have. There's bloodstone, healing, position. It's calling me a liar now. But there's a lot of information there that even I go back on and refresh my memory, because you can't remember everything. How many pages is in this book? It's about 378. Invoking Love, that's one that she does. I think she's got a chakra layout. Oh, and she gives you some crystal layouts and grids. Quick reference, how to make elixirs. But yeah, it's a great book, great starter, great if you don't already have it. I can't recommend it enough. It's one that, even though, like I said, I've got 3 of her kind of Crystal Bible series, this is the one that I will go back consistently. If I had to save one from a fire or choose, this would be the one that I took. No ifs or buts, I wouldn't even have to think about it. Brilliant book. Now the next one is one that I picked up on the recommendation of the Witchy Mummy, I think the lady is. She's pregnant at the moment, and she did a couple of books and she recommended this one. I think, is it the Witchy Mummy? I think she's called the Witchy Mummy. Lovely lady. She's got an adopted daughter, another little baby, and she's pregnant at the moment. But she was saying that she'd read through this and she really liked it. It's the Book of Sacred Baths. So I thought, okay, I'll try that. It's interesting, a bit different. I've not seen it around before. I know, you know, there is a lot of sacred wells, sacred waters, a lot of kind of myth and legends and healing properties in water, but I kind of like the bath and rituals of how to kind of bring that source into my home. And it's a good book, it's great. She gives you a lot of references, she talks a bit about things, practices, gives you ideas if you can't get everything that you need to make one ritual, and then she gives you 52. And there is a ton in here. I did the healing one. I'm suffering a bit with an infection in my ear, and I used Raphael, and it was a really nice bath. It was just nice to give yourself a bit more of me time. It's just something that I think I can use a lot of. What else is there? There's bath symbolisms, sacred bath compliant work, tips to prepare your bath. What's the rituals? The Love Yourself Madly bath, Release Dating Anxiety bath, the Increase Your Passion bath, Return to Peace bath, Treat Your Body Like Your Temple, the Chakra Balance bath. I'll give you a quick look there just so you can hopefully see some yourself. What else? The Ascended Masters Enlightenment bath. There is tons, so she's given you some for guidance with spirit, which is what I wanted this mainly for. I thought it would be nice because we're going into Halloween. I wanted to prepare a bit more and be a bit more ritual based in my bath, and that's one that I'm going to use in particular. Health wise, I did the I can't find it, upside down, the Archangel Raphael's healing, and that worked really nice. It really helped me actually. Baths for your career, baths for your love life, baths for your foundation. So yeah, great one, great source, one that I will be going back to time and time again. Writes well, interesting as well, and it's a bit unique, which is what I like. I'm an Aquarius, what can I say? And then the last one is the Goodly Spell Book, Old Spells for Modern Problems. Now this I saw on one of my Facebook groups that I'm on, a Wiccan based one, so I do apologise if you're not Wiccan, I am, or pagan, but this was one that someone posted up and said that they were really enjoying it. It caught my eye. I looked at it, looked at people's comments, and I thought, okay, I'm going to get that. I'm going to see what it's all about. And I always think it's nice just to have kind of a repertoire of spells, and it's great. They go into the art of correspondence, the art of divination, the magic of counting, the power words. They give you tons of different spells, secret writings, using spells, magical movement, spell casting, doing spells properly. And then they go into spells. So we've got healing, we've got protection, we've got attraction, we've got, I can't read that upside down, concealment, repulsion spells. There's just loads and loads of different ones, and it's a full book on many different aspects of kind of spell work. It's really interesting. It's one that I've looked through briefly. I've used some of the spells, and as usual with any spell, the way I was taught was that if you do find a spell in a book, change something slightly and make it yours, or add to it, take away what you want, what you need. That's what spell work is. It's all about intention. But it was really interesting, great for a beginner, great for, I don't want to say expert because it's a bit, pretentious, but it's great for someone that's got a working knowledge, let's say. Good price, really interesting, and I'll use it time and time again. So that was my last spell, and who's it by? Let's have a look. Coven, Old and Wild, Lady Passion, High Priestess, and High Priest. So it was the High Priest and High Priestess that made it, so it's got a nice little balance there. So let's get on to possibly why you chose to watch this video. I've got a couple of decks that I've brought this year that I would recommend, and then I've got a couple that I've been working on that I've really enjoyed, and I think all of them are new decks. I don't like to show the same decks all the time, which is one of the reasons why I haven't really done many videos, because I tend to find if I watch these videos too much, I buy tons of things and you don't always need them, but I like to kind of use them before I recommend them as well, and then if I do use a deck, I tend to use it a long time. So my first deck, and this is one that I've had for a while now, and it's been doing kind of, I've seen it on a couple of videos I was watching. There was the Two Spirit, he brought the deck, I think it was, or was it the Medicine card deck? And then he recommended this one, or was it the Thrifty Witch? He brought two of them. Anyway, I've seen it, people commented, and I've had it for a while. I love this deck, guys. It is beautiful. It comes in this little box, and you can tell I've had it for a while because this is the only box I've got for it, with this teeny tiny little white book, which goes into, gives you layouts and things. It's quite interesting, fair enough, you can work through that, easy to use. But the actual cards, the back of the cards are lovely. and then the front of the cards just give really great pictures and little symbol messages. Now, I didn't use this deck for a while because it's called the meditation deck, and I wasn't quite sure how I was going to use it. And then I started doing a 4-layer reading for clients, and what I found works really well with these decks, and they really are quite spot on, is that when I do 4 layers, I look at 4 different aspects of your life. And then how I use these decks is I shuffle them and I pull out a card for each aspect. And it really just nails the reading. It always kind of ties it in. It always gives a bit more clarity. They're just really, really unique no matter how you use them. I just think they are beautiful. I think that even if you use them just to pick up and look at them on a daily basis to meditate with, I think you're going to get a lot out of them. They're very magical, very intuitive as well. I've never struggled to connect with them in any way, shape or form. They are a lovely, lovely deck. And I think they were about £16 when I bought them. But that was, like I said, quite a few years ago. Funny story, me and my best friend went into the same store and picked up the same deck, which she brought it. I had to go online and get mine. So yeah, the next deck, if you watched my kind of Halloween spread, is the Oracle of Reflections. Now, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name because it's in French and I'm awful. But it's a beautiful, beautiful deck. She's kind of signed it for me in gold. It's got that black and gold mythical thing. It comes in a lovely box, nice little stars, really nice and solid. It went on a very long journey, this deck. It went to America and then came back and then went to the UK, which is where I am. You get a lovely little black and white book with it that again she signs, and one part is in French. Let's see, there you go, she signed it for me, and the other is in English. And she gives you kind of the reversed and the method and little meanings. I don't tend to read the little booklets when I'm using these. I tend to kind of go for my own intuition. That's just the way that's just the way I am. It's quite flexible, which you may or may not like. Lovely pictures on the background, very nice and subconscious. I use these in my spirit message work. That's what they've been dedicated to. It's the only time I will use them. But when I was watching her Instagram, which I think is the only way you can get hold of them, she gives you a little video on how she came up with the ideas of the backing here. And she actually, she actually did block work, I think, and then she kind of subconsciously chose different ones for the drawings that she did. So she really put kind of a lot of her subconscious into this, which again is why I like to use them for spirit work. But they're really quite simple drawings, but they're not. They give really good messages. I was working with them the other day with a client and we were talking to past loved ones who were just giving us messages, and yeah, they can be really quite honest. They're quite simple, like I said, but sometimes you can really draw a lot of information from there. And you can see quite a lot. I really, really can't recommend these enough, especially if you're kind of drawn to that kind of work, or if you want to work on more of your subconscious, or you want to use them for your own spiritual practice. Beautiful, they feel really nice. They're nice and solid. The box is a bit of a pain to open, but a lot of boxes are like that. But yeah, I really, really like this deck. And it's not a review, so I'm not going to go through all of them, just so that you can see all the others. Okay, so the next one that I'm going to do, and I'm going to do a review on the Universal Mind and the Universe Has Your Back, which is another deck I've got, is the Universal Mind Oracle deck by Michelle Black. Yay, a name I can pronounce. So this comes in a great box, not too, a bit boring in the inside, but it's a box, whatever. And the backing on them, not really great. I think it's pretty, but it's not something that I would be drawn to by the back, honestly. Quite a large deck, if you can see. There you go. But it's not the actual backing of this deck that I was drawn to, it was the actual pictures. I seen these, the Wild Moon Woman, and I fell in love. I thought they were beautiful. They are really, again, quite subconscious. They are really quite mythical or spiritual, or just there's magic in them, I personally think. Some of the, I think it's kind of photographed in work. I'm not quite sure what that name is, but the messages from here and the readings that I've done have been really concise, really spot on. You see a lot, if you're kind of an intuitive reader, which I am, when I read certain cards, I naturally get drawn to something, or something just pops out at me, gives me more messages, and that's kind of what's worked with this deck, is how I use it. I haven't done it with any client readings with this deck. I've used it more for kind of family and friends, just because I like obviously working with a deck, and when I feel comfortable then I'll introduce it, or when it tells me. But I mean, Synchronicity, that is a beautiful, beautiful card. They are so pretty. And here, the Lovers. Like I said, I'm not going to give you too many looksies, because I'm going to do a mini review on this deck, and I'll go through it all slowly and just show you pictures, especially if you're like me, you want to kind of see all of them before you buy something, because some of the decks, especially that one, was a bit more expensive than usual, just because I had to buy it through Kickstarter and pay for postage and packaging. And then the next one is one that I seen on Instagram. I was actually, I don't know who it was I saw, but I kind of saw the pictures and I was like, oh my gosh, that's really nice. And then I read reviews. I seen a video on it on YouTube by a young lady, and I can't remember her name, but it was The Universe Has Your Back. Now this box, it came a couple of days ago. Box is awesome, nice and solid, which you want, especially when you're kind of walking around with them, or you're popping them in your bag. You want to know that your cards are safe, especially if they're your babies like they are, or you know, if you work with them a lot, you want to look after your tools. So not only is the box nice and solid, but inside you get a lovely little quote, which is, you are the dreamer of your dream. How lovely is that? And the moon. So that's just, it's kind of just, it ties in all together. It just makes it really, really nice. Now, this back comes like that. It's nice work, and then we kind of get, I'm not sure if that's a gold sun or a golden moon. And then the sayings here, let's kind of just give it a quick shuffle. And then say, always trust the direction of the universe and know, I always trust the direction of the universe and know I'm being guided. So if you're the kind of person that likes affirmations, these are really, really nice. I love the artwork, I love the saying. I'm going to use them in my live videos, I'm going to use them in my Instagram when I'm taking photos. Not quite sure if I use them in client readings, just because, you know, sometimes you like to have a few cards for yourself, but I know I'll use them personally, just if I need a pick up or a perk, or just sometimes it's just nice to have that little kind of pat on the back. If I did them in my readings, I'd probably put them in some kind of empowerment reading, or at the very end, just to give a big brief message to someone. But I think that the artwork's really cool. The card stock, which I know some people tend to like to hear, it's flexible, but it's actually really solid. And one of the ladies who reviewed this said that for kind of, because it's mass produced, it's one of the better mass produced she's seen. I think it cost me about £10, and I've got to say, I really do think it's the money. It's been thought out really well. The box is solid, the artwork's lovely, the messages are really nice. You can use them. Gabrielle kind of gives you a brief little introduction here. What a nice little cardstock. You can use that as a bookmarker. A lot of these kind of, when I get them in decks, because obviously I've got a few, I tend to use them as a bookmarker, or, you know, just FYI. But yeah, really nice one. I'm going to do a more in-depth review because I want to, and I can. But yeah, lovely card. Get it if you feel drawn to, or if you want. Now the next two are tarot. And the next one that I want to talk about is this, the Happy Tarot. Let's have a look. Now this tarot deck It is adorable. It is so cute. You've got the cute little purple moon on the back here. And then you've got these little cutesy guys running around. What's this? We've got the Pentacle, we've got the Queen of Pentacle, and they look adorable. And the reason I picked this up is because I seen the pictures and I thought, you know what, I really just like them. I like the pictures, I like the art style, I like the fact that it was called the Happy Tarot, and the little white book that you get with it, which you do get, it's just one of the normal ones, so it gives you maybe a sentence or two of information about each card. The little white book kind of gave nice little messages. I, of course, don't use the little white book. I kind of go on my own intuition, my own kind of experience with these cards. And yeah, I was like, oh yeah, the Happy Tarot, it brings love and joy, and you know, I didn't think too much of it. It wouldn't be quite as in-depth as it is. And I did some client readings with it. And these cards do not pull a punch. This lady who I read for, and a couple of others, I like to kind of be as positive as possible, but she got a really quite deep, meaningful reading, and they don't pull the punches. Yeah, they're happy and smiling and they're cute, but the message coming across, they can be really quite honest and not brutal, because I don't think someone that smiles that way and looks that way can be quite brutal, but they can be very honest, they can be very blunt, and they can give quite darker messages as well. So believe it or not, I was really surprised how much I enjoy using these. I've been surprised at the messages that they've come up with, how in depth they can get, and kind of the symbolism in it as well. I mean, sugar, sweets can, even though we really enjoy consuming them, they're not that great for us, are they really? So sometimes what's sweet isn't always that great. But yeah, I do love this deck, and again, it was another one that I kind of picked up not too dear as well. Mass produced, I know. I do have others that aren't, but this one was just one that kind of I thought, you know, I've got to mention because I've enjoyed working with it. And then the last one that I wanted to talk to you about was this one. And this one my partner actually brought for me, and it's the Native American Tarot. And let's have a look. I don't think it's got that great a review. Laura Tuan, artwork by Sigio. Oh gosh, there you go, I'll show you. You know what I'm like, I just do not pronounce words really well. It says, tarot knowledge combines with the shamanism of Native Americans. Wisdom and strength come from harmony with the force of nature. 78 meditative cards with instructions. So this one, I seen the artwork, I can't remember, like I said, it's lots of social medias. Bye. And I really liked it. And then I seen kind of, there's not a lot of information about this deck. At least I couldn't find any. Not a lot of pictures, but there's a couple that really drew me in. I was like, okay, I'll try it. I'll see what I think. Anyway, you get this backing, which to me isn't that great. It's a bit dull, to be honest. But hey ho, whatever. It's flexi cards, flexi deck. But then the imagery that you get from it, I feel it's really, really powerful. There's so much symbolism in there. There's so many messages that you can take. And there's actually a couple of cards in this deck that go completely against what I was taught. But again, you know, because I'm an intuitive reader, I tend to take images from, you know, I tend to pinpoint something and work through that. My sister loves this deck. She's actually had a few readings. She's done a few readings herself with it, and she's really connected with this. But I just think it's kind of one of those decks that doesn't really get a lot of publicity. People don't tend to talk about it a lot. But I really think that the images are really powerful, and there's a lot going on. I've had good messages with this. I've not done client readings with this. I was going to for this month, but for some reason I just didn't pick it up. I haven't felt kind of ready yet. I still feel like there's a lot to experience with it and work through with it. but I just think that it needed a mention. I just think it's really nice, and especially because a lot of people seem to be on a shamanistic Native American path. This one possibly may be right for you. You may not agree, which is fair enough. But yeah, there was a couple in here, and if I could look through all 78 cards, I would. But there's a bear one. I think it's Eight of Pentacles, maybe. And yeah, that was the one that drew it to me. And there's also a woman with the spider. Oh, there we go. There's one that I really liked as well. The Judgment. I think that is really beautiful. It brings Native American kind of culture to me. It just makes me imagine their kind of spiritual practices. They're very in tune with nature, very in tune with their animal work as well, very in tune with spirit. And yeah, I just think it's a lovely, lovely deck, very under acknowledged. So yeah, so those are my favourites so far this year. I'm sure I'll probably do one at the end for 2017. There's decks that I haven't mentioned, just because I feel like there's a few that I've picked up that have been a bit more special than others, and you know, I'm still using my favourites. Many blessings, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye lovelies.